Thanks to the generosity of our Patreon supporters, we've got a big budget operation going on here to dig out a solid abandoned mine. When we started, that section up there had slid completely over the portal and dammed it up, so the water was actually coming out the top right about there. And there have been a ton of cave-ins all the way through. Starting about 30 feet in, we've pushed back, digging it out. So I just took out a load of muck right there. We're back around 300 feet right now and continuing to dig out collapses, get farther back. I turned the blower off for a minute so you guys can hear me, because that thing is loud. So like I said, just mucked out that right there and push it back in. We don't have a trammer yet because we're not, I don't even know if we'll get one. Right now we're doing all right by hand. Our budget's not that huge, but we may get one in the future depending on how many collapses there still are. We're still working through. That's what we're using for timber support. We're getting really low on lumber right now. We use a lot of it in the section we're in right now. That's our dry over there. A little generator out here for internet access. There's a look inside the dry. Got all the tools inside here. First aid equipment. A lot of people are either working on the ground right now or went down to town to get some supplies, so a lot of empty spaces right now where helmets usually are. Then out here, we're dumping more muck. Once the muck, it's kind of silly, but the Forest Service requires it. Once the muck gets dumped in that pit right there, which is separated out of the old timbers, because like I said, we're pushing through collapses. So the old timbers get dumped over there and taken to a special place, a special facility for dealing with those. And then the muck, that's the old waste rock pile right there. It used to extend all the way over, but the Forest Service says we can't change the geographical footprint of the site, even though you can see where it used to be and washed out. So it's silly, but for now we're taking it here and up the hill to there. Per the MSHA rules, we have to store fuel and things like that there. This is that waste rock pile I was just talking about. Got the all essential porta potty, our generator for the blower, and then that generator powers the pneumatic drills and that sort of thing when they're needed. Right now we're just using that for spy lane. We're not doing any blasting or anything yet, but when we start drilling for that, that's what we're using so far. Oh yeah, we got the, I mentioned the internet access. We got the dish right there for internet access, and also we got the wireless surveillance cameras because people like to steal shit. You know how that goes. So, like I said, there's hardly anybody up here. There's just 3 of us up here right now. Usually there's a lot more vehicles parked here and equipment, but like I said, we need a lot more wood. So some people are getting wood, some people are getting some tools. One guy is out hurt, so usually there's more, but it also gives me a chance to do some filming. There's another view of the portal we cleared out. This vent bagging right there. This is our blower. When it's on, it's as loud as a jet engine. I mean, it's just deafening. So I got to turn it off to talk on the camera. We've got steel sets here in the portal, and then there are timber sets farther back, but this is all steel in the beginning here. And also, let me get up a bit, I'll show you. If you look there, there's serious rebar jammed in to help support the lagging on top. And that is looking back. I'll take you back to what we're working on right now and update you guys as we make progress. So far, this is all haulage at it. As you can see, we haven't gotten to stopes or anything like that yet. This is one of the workstations. You can see this. You can actually stand up straight in here. These are higher timber sets. And yes, I have an O2 meter on and everything else. So we're being safe. MSHA has inspected this and actually didn't find a single violation. So we're working on mucking out the piss ditch along here as well. The piss ditch is what they call that drain on the side right there. And because we're clearing out these collapses, it tends to fill up with muck and debris, and so we come along and clean them out, just to keep things flowing. This mine dates back to the 1870s, and just like a lot of abandoned mines, it's been worked off and on during that time. This timbering, obviously, we didn't put in. This is probably a mix of everything from the 1930s up to the 1990s, and this section is actually still pretty solid. This is probably 1990s work. You can see the steel set mixed in. Up here, where the older timbers are, you can see we did a lot more work putting supports in. Sorry I don't have, see us starting to see some of the stuff that we put in. I'm sorry I don't have the regular mine exploring light for you guys. I'll be sure to do that in future updates on this, but I mean it's a relatively featureless haulage at it, so I think you guys get the idea. You see all the new timbers that we've been putting in, so all that wood I showed you outside is ending up in the ground here. And I'll show you where a huge amount of it is getting consumed right now. See, we put a lot of new timbers in here. But up there, that's where a lot of it is going right now. This is the phone and intercom. There's a look at the rock back here. This is a mix of slate and serpentine. So, in other words, it's a horrible combination. And that's the reason for so much timbering. It's all just super crumbly, bad news. Get the tool belt. So what we're working on right now, you see all the lagging and such that we brought back. The thin hoe, our tools. What we're working on right now is this collapse here, which we've mucked out a huge amount of material. That is one of the timbers that failed. Looking beyond, that's where it keeps going. More flooded back there. We didn't put those in actually, those were here already. We found those when punched through. Looking overhead, this is what we've been working on. all this timber sets and lagging, excuse me, cribbing overhead. That's a good 10 feet, 12 feet up, all full of cribbing to try and support this section. But as you can see, it's really nasty in here. It's all voided out back there. You can see the ribs are starting to slough off. That's where it came in from. You see all the cribbing. We're having a jam in there. You know, all the wedges and cribbing and that kind of thing. It's a job. And just to be clear, I'm not the one doing the technical work like this. That's what you hire guys. That's what you hire experienced miners for. I'm helping out with little side projects and mucking and that kind of thing. We just put that lagging in there today. Fill that space beyond and strengthen that. But yeah, like I said, we're concerned about this stuff sloughing off here. And the next plan is just to cut through this here in front of us with a chainsaw, use an electric chainsaw underground, cut through that and shore that up, and then start working our way back to see what's back there. And who knows, as old as this mine is, there could be ore cars, all kinds of stuff back there. We just don't know. One last look. Like I said, I'll do updates along the way. This is how far we've gotten now, and once we push farther back and get to some more stuff, I'll update you guys. Just wanted to let you know what's going on so far. Thank you again to the Patreon people helping get this mine opened up so you can see what's in here. Now, we've been back there for a long time. This has been caved for a long, long time. So we'll see. There's a quick look back. That's all. The reason that goes back so far is because that stuff sloughed off and caved. So bad news. And of course, that's looking out.
Long. For some reason my measurements are always wrong. Tag it, and the 4 through holes are for the nails.
Yeah.
Just try to get it jammed up in there first on top of that. Oh, dearly Bob. Bang it in. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna tap it. You got that thing? Yeah. How much farther are you going to go?
You got like a ½ inch to finish on the left and an inch on the right. Good.
Does that look pretty even?
Yeah, you're flush with both beams. You got to go up on my left.
All right, I'm going to get a nail in there real quick.
screws in and I'll be out of here.
Cool.
And pass you the saw.
Alright, you remember that really bad caved in section that we were working on for a while? Well, this is it. As you can see, we've completely mucked out that collapsed section. The dodgy area that's in front has been shored up, and now can access the deepest reaches of the mine. Here's a look at the finished product. See all the timber work they put in. Multiple layers, stretching all the way up. And there's a little bit of the nasty rotten stuff still in there, but you can see we've just worked around it. And then this is all shored up in here as well. This is looking free to where we haven't been able to go before. Fortunately, in here it's spacious. You can actually stand up straight. My goodness. Looking up, you can see the miners in the past created huge decks, cribbing running all the way up. That's probably 18 feet up, I'm guessing. And you can see multiple layers along there. Just up there, the adit is bare, meaning that there's not a bunch of timber work. It really opens up. This is all solid rock. It's really nice. Obviously, we're going to come through and shore up some of these timbers. Some of them are starting to bend a bit, as you can see. We'll get that all cleaned up. But we're making good progress. My buddy Jake, you've seen a lot of the mine exploring videos. Starting on today's project. Today's project is to clear these rails off so we can get the ore cars back here. I'm getting a trammer and mucker and a bunch of other stuff back here soon. So working on rehabbing the rail, getting everything good to go for that. But as you can see, you can't even see the rail here. It's buried under this muck. That's a piece of wood right there. That's not a rail. You can see the rail sort of emerging out of the muck there. So we'll get that cleaned out today. That's today's job. And when the other miners get here, they're going to work on shoring this up. And we'll just keep pushing back. We're still down the drift. I just wanted to give you one more look up at the work the miners did in the past. You see that upper deck runs all through there. There's a good look at the rock that we're working with. It's really crumbly. That's the stuff that's caving in on us. It's a mixture of slate and serpentine for the most part in this first few hundred feet. And again, there's a good view of that deck. You can see how it's just multiple levels running up there. I think that looks really cool. Let's look back at the new Caribbean caps and posts and supports. People always ask me what it smells like in a mine. Well, I can now tell you that the old mines would have smelled like freshly cut wood, because that's what this smells like now. It's got the fragrant, fresh aroma of freshly cut timbers. And obviously the old mines, you know how much timber sport they had, they would have all smelled like delicious pine fragrance. So now we know at least that part of it. It just, I don't know, we walked by all that wood for years and it never occurred to me that it would smell like fresh pine, but there you go. So he's clearing out alongside the rail right now just so we can move the ore car back. Got one of our drills right there, as you can see. That's here for spiling. All this spiling is brand new. Let's put this in to support the lagging on the side. You see it's a little crumbly back there. So this was run in so it wouldn't cave in on the side, on the rib. And that was the drill that was used for that. You can look back at one of the layers of cribbing. I don't remember how far advanced it was in the last video, but you can see what was done. Compare it to what was in the video.